Yo, what's up? Welcome back to another episode of the Disruption Podcast. We are your hosts. I'm Noah. What's up, man?
I'm sorry, Carlos's camera just kills me the way he's sitting. Chief Sargent in the building, baby.
Instagram how easy.
Yo, so is the Prince. What you saying?
I'm getting like old school like music video vibes right now.
It's the
Right, I got a music video after this. What you saying, man?
One of those
Interrogation room vibe. The guy's got a little baggie of weed. What's happening?
Jeez.
Wait.
I
What you said?
think you forgot that this is going on the YouTubes. The guy's dancing weird. Oh man.
Oh, snap, YouTube. Oh, snap, I forgot. Let me back know.
Dude, forgot about the YouTube.
Hey, guys. How we doing?
Oh man, that was good, Joe.
Hey, good.
Nothing.
Huh? I'm excited to shoot today, man.
Yeah, no, I'm
Oh,
down.
just on our minds, man. A lot been going on.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Fam,
Very excited.
I've been sitting in front of the computer like the whole day.
How many Zooms is everyone on today? This is for me number 3.
So this is
Same.
this is Zoom number 5 today now, man. And it's literally been back to back. Just before this shoot was the first break today, man. I said, "What? This is live now?"
That's crazy. You guys got any after this as well?
Nah,
No
man.
way people want to talk to y'all.
Want to? Oh, no one trying to chat to you.
That's crazy.
But I sent that snap earlier today. I was like, "Yo, yeah, this is wild. I hate this online thing." And then Noah, you're like, "Yeah, but just think about how many times you would have had to make trips to different places if this was in person." But I was like, "Yo, just because of how convenient it is now, we're putting so much into a day. We're like, yeah, we can jump online for this." And then in my mind, I'm like, "Yeah, sweet. This Zoom finishes at 3. Cool. I can make it for 3:30." But when I realized this is back to back. Things just pile up, man. But yeah, I've been doing Zoom Olympics today, fam.
The beauty of it is because we're not traveling, you can literally jump on Zoom and it can be 5 minutes. Like you don't have to feel bad if your conversation, whatever, is short because it's like I didn't have to travel anyway. I'm at home, so it's like 5-minute call. Let's go. Let's finish it.
But 5-minute call is only for the people that I don't like. If I like you, I have to talk to you for at least 20.
Yeah, hold on, bro. Wait, 5 minutes Zoom. Wait, why didn't you just do a normal phone call?
Yeah, hey, that's true. Anything under 20 minutes, it's like, bro, send me a text.
No, I've never had a Zoom call that went 5 minutes. I don't know why. It was an example. Like literally, it was just an example.
Good example.
But, I mean, a quick call. That's it.
We don't know how to let anything go.
Huh?
We have to grab it and pull it apart.
If we hear a madness, we have to pull someone
Nah,
up.
hey,
That's why we're podcast hosts.
You're getting dragged.
But to be honest, that's what I love about this whole Zoom thing. It's like you can just do it whenever. Like I was on a Zoom call at work today.
Yeah.
You know, like
No, you're
during
not
your
supposed
break.
to do that. You just did it.
Nah, whoa. Nah, during my break, I was like, yeah, boys, I'm gonna jump on. Jumped on during my break. Boom, boom, boom. There we go.
The guy had a 1.5 hour break. Just putting that out there. Talking about break, boy.
Hey,
you caught off.
Hey, my boss is listening to our podcast. So if you listen to these guys are lying. That's what I'm saying, boss.
Oh man.
But yeah, no. Currently, what is week 3? We just finished week 3 of our lockdown.
Cool.
Was that week 4?
Yeah, we're over halfway, man. We're close.
We almost finished serving our sentence, fam.
Look at that.
Saying after this, I can tell the streets, yeah, man done time. What you saying?
As long as Marwa's people don't try to go crazy and bring this whole numbers back.
Yeah, your suburb was doing a man to say.
Like I keep saying, they're exercising their rights.
They are
Okay.
exercising their
Suburb,
wallets.
Bro, this is
Catching fines left, right, center.
It is genuinely such a hilariously comical time with such crazy things going on around us. But you can't help but look at everything and just laugh like, what the heck? Like, this is really life, you know? Man, yeah, it's crazy, man. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, man. This, like, end of this year, fam.
Bro, if everything is open and, like, semi-regular, New Year's Eve is going to go crazy.
bro. No cap. Yeah.
I don't know. I heard Carlos is performing WAP at the nightclubs.
Whoa.
Man, nah. Like end of this year is actually gonna be. Whoosh.
Bro, if everything's open, well, go madness.
I mean, I
Mad.
highly doubt everything being open like that, but just people are going to have fun, you know?
Yeah.
Regardless, people are going to be. But you know what's kind of like funny though? Obviously, this relates to when people make New Year's resolutions and that. It's like, it's just going to go from Tuesday to Wednesday, bro. Like, I don't know what New Year's Eve is, but like, for real, it's just going to be, yeah, sweet Tuesday and then Wednesday, and then just comes with season 2, bro.
Nah, but I think like New Year's is going to be different because it's like we're
We made
literally
it.
putting behind 2020. Like 2020 has been so insane.
Who told you
It's
2021 is 2020's cousin, bro?
Yeah, hey.
But like it's a
They're
fresh
related.
start. I mean, I think
Yeah.
everyone. It's like, okay, I don't want to just enter a new month. I want to enter a whole new year. Start from January. Scrap everything. Like we're redoing this.
Hey, legit. Because to be honest, prior to this, I've never really been like, oh, I want to get over this year. I mean, and damn sure, summer 2016, I did not want to leave that behind. Take me back.
Take me back.
Oh, man. Nah, yeah.
Nah, but hey, who said 2021? Nah, I don't want to jinx it. It's alright. I don't want to jinx it.
Boy, it doesn't
I was
care.
gonna say
Power
something,
in the tongue.
but we don't know if 2021 is gonna say, hey, thanks, I'll take it from here. Like,
Oh, hey.
I mean, to be honest, 2020 has been on madness since the third day. You remember when that Iranian guy got assassinated?
Yeah. 2021 is going to come in like, oh, you better clock off? I bet, yeah, no, I got Hey, can you come on my shift again next year or what?
Like I was just thinking, like, what else could actually happen? But I mean, none of us could have predicted COVID, so we can't predict anything else. Like
You didn't see America? Someone, I forgot which states. There was I saw a photo. It was like I strive to be like 2020, who's constantly trying to outdo itself. I want to be like 2020 in my life. How are you gonna have two hurricanes in the same area? Two separate hurricanes in a whole American states. They've come together.
Bro, that's just real life Beyblades.
This is the type of year that's going on.
You know when you watch a movie and then you're like, this can never happen? Yeah, 2020.
Fan.
What do you rate it? 5 stars, unrealistic.
Unrealistic.
my
Oh, man.
Bro, the third day of 2020 started off with World War III. How?
I know, yeah.
Bro, you remember that whole, there was the memes, the Roddy Ricch, the guy in the tank, me in the tank, 2020.
This is how I know we're just not serious. And we didn't recognize what was coming our way. I think what this has made, even still to this day, maybe not fully for some people, but what all of this has made some people realize is like, you know, we meme everything up, things happen, and we find the comical side of things, right? Or we don't even understand the gravity of some things going on because we're detached or whatever it might be. But I think this year's made everyone kind of realize, like, fam, like, if it's gonna get you, it's gonna get you. Not talking about Rona specifically, but bad things in life, yeah. So everyone is kind of almost taking that reflective stance, kind of stepping away from all of the laughs about things and all that, and recognizing, like, oh man, like this life thing, man, like things be happening, fam, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, go.
Nah, I was just gonna say, like, yeah, bro, you're right. Like, life just happened to everybody. Like, today at work, this lady came in to pick up her stuff, and then, you know, she was like to me, "How's your dad?" And I was like, "Oh yeah, not bad." And yours? And then she was just like, she told me her life story. I didn't ask for it, but thank you. But anyways, so she was just telling me, like, it's a sad story, but she was telling me like how her husband is in the hospital, and what he's dealing with is not even COVID. Like he's dealing with some complete other issues, and they got 6 kids and all this stuff. And I was like, wow, like, and it just made me think. I'm like, bro, everybody's dealing with their own battles. You get what I'm saying? Like, yes, I know this virus thing is going around, whatever. But for some people, that's not even the center of their life right now. You get what I'm saying? I was like, it's a tough year, bro.
It's a great blessing if most, you know, people are in the position that we're in, where it's like, this is the biggest, you know, problem in our life is the nuisance of lockdown.
Yeah.
where a
For
lot of
real,
people are
in
actually
real life.
facing, they're actually facing either the devastation from the lockdowns or just honestly just things completely unrelated to it, because
something that's damaging to the family, to the friends. I'm like, wow, bro.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, I'm like, God forbid, but because he's been in the hospital for like weeks and weeks, and he's gonna stay there even longer.
Yeah.
And that she's got like 2 daughters who are starting at 7. One of them is starting prep, and one of them is graduating. I'm like, whoa, you know what I mean? Like, it's madness.
Can we say, because I was thinking about this earlier this week, can we then say that because everyone's saying this is genuinely the worst year ever, yeah? And obviously that's for everyone who's currently living right now, yeah? That's what a lot of people are saying. Some people have had madnesses, but globally, people are kind of saying, yeah, this is genuinely the worst year we've ever experienced in, I don't know, in X amount of years. Or
17% on Rotten Tomatoes.
17%, very less than that. But you know what I started thinking about? I was thinking like, yo, nothing is new under the sun, right? Like, things that are happening.
Can I just ask a question? Who told this guy to have a meal during the podcast?
Who, Carlos?
He's doing whatever. I think he forgot that we're on camera. Like,
bro, we were talking for 20 minutes before shooting this. All of us were munching, we're eating a little some. This guy decides to eat right now.
From being Diddy in a 90s video to suddenly Fat Albert. I don't know.
To Mujahid in Khartoum, bro. Anyways, yeah.
Whoa.
Yeah, keep going. Nothing under the sun is new.
Like, nothing is new under the sun. Okay, so right now we're having a global pandemic because of a virus. We're seeing a lot of, like, probably jump into it later, but all the stuff going on in America and that, right? And it's like these things that are happening that are making us be so like, this is crazy, this is a mad, at a point in time in history have already also happened or have been happening. So for those people at that point of time as well, they were probably like, I don't know what they called it. Thy is, I don't know what the English was for, bruv, but whatever the words were that they used, they would have probably been like, this is the most mad year that we've ever experienced, or this has been the most trying season or something like that, right? So I'm like, for us right now, this is what we're calling the worst year. I wonder how that looked for people 500 years ago and what people like 400 years from now would say, or 30 years from now would say, or something like that.
Yeah.
Like,
I guess you can only judge from your own experience, if that kind of makes sense, right? You can only kind of judge from this span. Example, people that never watched Michael Jordan play basketball, they're saying LeBron James is the greatest player ever, right? We're only judging based on this, right? But if we were to experience what Michael Jordan did, experience what Magic Johnson did, and then experience what LeBron did, we might say Michael Jordan is the greatest, right? But the fact that they never saw that, they're going to only judge based on what they're seeing right now. You get what I'm saying? So going back, we didn't live 500 years ago. We didn't live, whatever, 200 years ago, 100 years ago. So we are saying this is the worst based on what we've seen and based what we know, right? If those people 100 years ago were to live till today, they'd be laughing at us like, bro, this is a joke. We don't know that. You know what I'm saying? But I'm saying that one is saying that is because based on what we've seen. And based on stats and based on other things, it might say this is the worst year. We don't know that. But yeah, I think one is saying this based on what we've seen and based on our experience.
That is true. That is true. I think we do view everything out of our lens. And then there's also like another layer where it's like individually we view everything out of our own lens. So that's where it's like, just because I don't see something as offensive doesn't mean someone else doesn't. All right. But yeah, I agree with that, where it's like for us, we can only say this is the worst because it's for us. But then for what, people that went through the Spanish flu or whatever, they were like, bro, people are literally, and that's only 100 years ago, right? They would probably be like, man, every child has died. Or I don't really know what happened then. But it's like, well, that's pretty crazy too, I guess, at the time, especially when you have no, way of contacting anyone outside your home or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like when you say that this year has been the worst year, we're not dismissing all the other years that have been bad for other people. It's just kind of like, yeah, we're living through this right now, and it's actually like pretty crap, if I can say that, for us, because it is. Like, I don't think anyone, you know, who has lived through other really bad stuff can really say that we're not living in bad times. Because, and obviously for some people it's good times, like, you know, some people are actually prospering, they're doing well, but for other people they're struggling. But as a whole, like everywhere, people are struggling. And I think that's why it's, you know, such a big year. That's why everyone can kind of agree that this is like, it's been traumatic, it's just been devastating. And I was kind of thinking, like, obviously, you know, in the past like years and stuff, like when it's come to death and that, people die, you know, people die every year, whether it's celebrities, whether it's family members or whatever. But I feel like this year deaths have just been highlighted so much more. I think it's because definitely of COVID. Like, we're already locked up, everyone's already having a bad time, and then all of a sudden, like, all of these major stars are like dying. Like, you know, just yesterday, Chadwick, you know, we just, like, you know, rest in peace, he passed away. But the fact that it impacted so many people and stuff like that, and I was just kind of like, even if it happened last year, it would have still impacted people, like, period. But I was just like going back and thinking, like, this year, the fact that so many people have just been like dying, like every month, I feel like it's been probably 2 or 3 people that have at least passed every single month. And it's just been like so traumatic, and it just adds on to what we're already going through. And that's why everyone's kind of like, yo, this is really like suckish. Like, it just keeps going. It's not even COVID anymore. It's just like Carla was saying before, people are dealing with other things as well. You know, like Chadwick, he was dealing with cancer. You know, it's nothing related to COVID, but it was cancer. So it's like people are still battling things behind the scene that we don't even know about. So it's not even just COVID anymore. It's like other things. You know what I mean? Yeah.
It's an interesting space because, yeah, I think it's also like why we're seeing, I mean, one, Chadwick, just the impact that the movie had in the community was wild. So that's why it almost was also felt a lot more as well, aside from just what's going on. I think, yeah, you're right. If it was last year, it would have still been the same kind of like surprise shock impact. But what makes this current situation or the canvas of COVID mad is because everything's already so bad, and it's like you just want to catch a break in terms of good news or positivity. Yeah. But the fact that all that's coming is more and more heap of bad news, it heightens what you're feeling when you hear these things more, because you've already still got the background emotions from what's presently just going on. And then you get it's kind of like when people just erupt or explode after they've been holding ththings in for so long. That's kind of like how the world is kind of feeling right now, where there's already so much going on, and then more is added and added and added. It's like, with that, yeah, you feel that in a
and it seems like you can't erupt because you just don't know. It just seems like there's always something, you know, and it's like if you erupt, you're bound to erupt again in a few weeks' time, because there's just always something that just keeps popping up.
Yeah, I think that's the thing that makes this year significantly horrible on a global scheme, in that global level. Sorry, it's like you're all going through this thing, and then there's constantly something else being added on top, and it's like, I mean, and then again, see, I don't know what happened during the Spanish flu. What other nonsense would have happened, right? I don't know. But I'm saying out of this one, I'm like, there's so much I can count, right? It's like this year alone, right? Like, I mean, let's count it. My sister sent me a list of all the nonsense that's happened this year the other day, right? Let me find this. Like, obviously, we start, 3rd of January, you get all these little threats of World War III and whatnot. And then you go, couple weeks later, you got the bushfires in Australia, right? Like, we're starting to forget about things happening this year, right? Then Kobe passes away. Pop Smoke gets murdered 2 weeks later, right? Obviously, COVID starts. Then you got George Floyd, that whole, you know, unnecessary situation. I think that's where things start getting painful, is when it's unnecessary.
Yeah.
Then you've got the whole protests and stuff that happened afterwards. You've got the leader of the free world, who's literally a thorn in everyone's flesh, right? Then a couple weeks ago, you get Lebanon's explosion, and then now you get another hero passing away yesterday, and it's like, and then, you know, one of our pastors was even messaging me, and he was saying, like, this year has been disproportionately hard on Black people, as opposed to, like everyone's had a tough year, but it's like you really look at that list and that's like half of it is a problem, and even more painful for Black brothers and sisters. And it's like, fam, like the annoying part is because of COVID, which is the underlining thing of 2020, is that there's nowhere to go to vent this stuff either. Like, you're angry in your room or you're angry in the living room. Like, that's your options.
Yeah. Nah. It has been kind of weird. And actually, Mara, were you saying something?
No.
Yeah, okay. So this is something that I was actually thinking about earlier this week. I think these two, I wrote them down, man. All right. I started thinking about this kind of like a concept. I don't even know what it means or where it's going or what's around it. But I was thinking about, I wrote it down. Yeah, it's called survival instinct. Yeah. And how that's kind of been kicked in for everyone this year, right? Or more so like maybe the Black community in America especially, and then globally around the world, in the sense that you start to see so much go on, and this is in line with called Black trauma, right? This, I don't even know what this means or where this is going, but I was just trying to understand what, like right now, constantly seeing bad things, right? Like constantly seeing things happen to people that look like you, or the world constantly saying that this is going on, X is going on. It does create some form of a trauma for you, man. Yeah. And specifically the Black trauma, I felt like the constant degradation of Black people and constant reminders of what the world actually thinks about Black people, it really starts to, it's deflating, man, like, what happened, I will probably jump into a little bit more, but what happened to Jacob Blake, right? I haven't even been able to watch the video still yet, because there's just been so much and so many different things, especially after George Floyd. There was a lot that was put out and social media was getting onto it. Yeah, like showing this, showing that. And there was a point I was like, okay, you got to be aware of what's going on, see what's happening. And then recently what just happened, to me, I was like, man, like I actually started to feel like a bit, I was just like, I feel traumatized, man. I'm like, I can't watch this. I can't see anything anymore. Like, and then what even added like insult to injury, seeing comments, I started to realize like, bruv, from the world, it seems like no one actually cares. You know what I mean? Like a lot of people just genuinely just don't care about what's happening, the racial tensions in the sense that, they're seeing things happen to African Americans in a disproportionately bad way, and they just don't care. They're not fazed. They don't see an issue or anything like that. And that above anything is what hurt. And I was like, this is actually quite traumatizing to see and to witness. And it's like you start to I started to feel like the world is actually getting desensitized to injustices and the trauma just because of how normal it's becoming it's coming on our feeds. It's kind of like what we've seen happen with the death tolls of countries and that. Like, look at how easy in our conversation it will say something like, oh man, like, it'll be cool to go to Spain next year. And it's like, oh wait, let me check what the death toll is right now. Is it coming down? You know what I mean?
Yeah. Bro, how wild is it? Yesterday I messaged you guys and I was like, 85% of the 600 deaths in Australia is Victoria. Like, bro, just 500 something people died.
That's what I'm saying, man. It's like, because of just how much it's out there, bringing it back to what's going on in America and all that. Yeah, you get desensitized a bit, because it's not. Yeah, it's just that it's out there so much, you forget how real the issue is. That just because it's always in your face, it doesn't take away. It's just scary, man. I'm just thinking, what does this mean? Like, it starts to make. I found myself starting to ask the question of like, oh man, maybe am I overreacting? Like, are we saying? Do we keep on calling and crying out, there's something going on, we need help? Are we actually overacting? Are there other things people are going through? Is it really such a targeted thing? You know what I mean? Like, I started going, man, okay, because it looks like no one cares. All right, what is going on? Why do they not see there is an issue? Is there an issue? You know what I mean? I started finding myself going down. I'm like, yo, this is genuine, like, this is what trauma feels like for some people, man, in these situations. And like, that's mad. That's what this year has kind of done.
I think there's a lot of stuff that's just going on around the world. That's why it's so hard for us to kind of focus on one big issue. You get what I'm saying? So obviously, again, the COVID thing is such a big thing globally, but at the same time, the racial injustice is also a big thing that's going on as well, right? So that's already two major battles, right? And then now if you include your own issues and your own problems that's going on in your life, that's even more of a problem. So then now you're facing 5 to 10 different things like that every day. So it's almost like, do I care about this today? Do I care about which celebrity passed away today? Do I care about which black person got shot again today? It's because there's just too much going on. You got every day, it's something new. Every day is something different. So I think, especially like what's going on in America, where they're facing these issues like every single day, it's tough. And especially like even like people just all over the world. It's like, again, I see these things in the morning, but then at the same time, I'm facing my own problems. So it makes it hard for me to care about what I just saw. Yeah, I saw it and I was hurt for that 2 seconds. And then when I put my phone away, I realized that I have this stuff that I'm also going through that I tend to forget what just happened. So I don't know if it's we don't care about what happened. I think it's the fact that we're also dealing with our own stuff as well. And to be honest, sometimes the stuff that we're dealing ourselves, it's on a higher magnitude to what's going on around us. You know, in some people's case, you know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, you come first, no matter what. It's like that saying where it's like, you can't help others if you can't help yourself, right? So it's like, yes, I know this is going on, but I'm in a worse position. So let me care about my position. And then the fact that there's 10 other things. Sorry?
Yeah, I was going to say that's kind of where I'm going with that. I feel the trauma in a certain survival instinct within everyone, let me talk specifically now about, you know, the black community. I feel like it's kicked in a certain survival instinct, and just, yeah, you're right. The whole year for everyone, it's kind of done something to people in that sense. And yes, madness, man. Because I was going to ask the question, yeah, all this stuff is going on. Everything is madness out in the world. But where to from here? Like, what does this actually mean for the landscape of humanity, right? It sounds very dramatic to talk about or very dramatic to say, but I think it's a very real thing in terms of, like, how is this kind of actually, like, all that's going on, how is this actually changing us? Like, or where we stand, where we sit? Because I'm just seeing madness. I genuinely start to look and I'm like, yo, like, some governments do not care. They're doing whatever. Some people are oblivious. Some people are choosing to be oblivious. Some people know what's going on and then still, you know, I don't know, man. Like, yeah, where do we go from here? Like, you know?
I think the fact that we all got different beliefs, it makes it hard for us to have a set direction in terms of where we should go. You get what I'm saying? Which is why you have certain people saying, this thing is fake. No, we want our freedom. And then other people are screaming, you guys are idiots. Just stay at home so we can get over this, right? So we already automatically have different beliefs. And even when you have different beliefs, we can't walk on that same path. So as society, we are all spread out. So right now, that's why there's no clear indication to which way humanity is going towards. You get what I'm saying? Are we going this way? Is things going to get better or are things going to get worse? We actually don't know how next is going to look like in terms of the human race, rather than forget the problems, forget, you know, the health stuff. As people, which way are we going? Are we going to get better as people and say, hey, I should do better? Or are we going to say everyone by themselves? We don't know where we're going right now. You get what I'm saying? Because we don't believe in the same thing. You know what I mean? Some people are all about, you guys are idiots. Some people are like, bro, just be safe. And some people, you know what I mean? It's just going to get, so we don't know if it's going to get worse, or we're going to say, yo, it's wake up call. Even though we have different beliefs, how can we work together? And I don't know if that's going to happen. If that happens, that's great. But if it doesn't happen, then this is just the beginning.
I mean, I was in the midst of like everything that's going on, right? The riots, you know, Corona and stuff. Don't you feel like people have already kind of shown their true colors? People have shown, you know, whether they're for or they're against Black Lives Matter, you know, whether they're, you know, looking out for themselves only, or whether they're looking out for other people in terms of, like, you know, buying so much and not leaving much for people. I feel like a lot of people have already shown like who they are in a way. Like, they've already shown their ugly side or they've shown their good side, and it's kind of like we shouldn't ignore how people are reacting right now, because this can actually play a very crucial part in where we go now. You know, it's kind of like, don't forget about all of those people who were fighting against the movement of Black Lives Matter, all those people who were, looting, but not for the right reasons, all the people who were in the streets, championing for Donald Trump and all of the like nonsense stuff he was saying or whatever. Like, it's like we shouldn't turn a blind eye to these things just because we're going through a pandemic or, things are really bad. It's like people are actually showing their true colors. Leaders are showing their true colors. Celebrities, just normal everyday people are showing their true colors. So it's kind of like, in order to answer that question, it's like, okay, how are people reacting right now? Like, how is the human race as a whole? Are we coming together or are we being divided? And for me, I feel like people are divided. Like, it's an actual problem right now that we're not tackling because everyone's kind of focused on, coronavirus and what's going on out there, our health, or I need to worry about myself. Whereas it's like, okay, we should have been focusing on how can we come together? Like, how can we tackle these things? Just because Corona's happening doesn't mean we can't, advocate for the Black people who are being killed every single day. Like, the killings, I'm not sure if it's that it's being recorded more, like, and it's being shown more, or if like cops are actually just like, they don't care. Like, you would think that, ever since the George Floyd thing, like, people are actually having rest. Like, we wouldn't have to hear of, people being shot every single day, someone dying, someone fighting for their life because of the cops, but it's happening. Like, it's still happening, and it doesn't seem to be getting any better. So I don't know if, what direction we're heading towards, to be honest.
I think I was going to say what you said pretty much, where it's like, I think the worst thing about this year is how divisive it has been between humans. Even like literally right now, I see this one guy that I know posts this on Facebook, right? And in my opinion, I'm like, yeah, this guy's a tool, right? But he goes, Victoria Police, at least until stage 2 returns, should be able to shoot those who flout the rules without question. And I'm like, it's weird because we're all in such, it's not even like everybody's either team A or B. It's everybody on every topic is either team A, B, C, D, all the way to Z, yeah? And it's like, because I'm the type where I'm like, honestly, I don't mind if people start protesting the lockdowns at this point. I don't think they're well done. I don't think they're effective. I don't, like, none of that, right? But at the same time, I'm in a boat where I'm like, but I will respect and I will stay at home and whatever. I'm in that group. Then there's people which are, let's say that this guy that wants police to shoot anyone that's breaking the rules, that's group A. Then there's the people on the opposite end, which are like, we should only break the rules. That's Z, right? And then there's someone in the middle of me, right? Then go next topic. You got, the whole Black lives and issues like that, where to me, I'm like, this is a black or white issue, pun intended, yeah? Where it's like, you either, want brutality to stop, you want mistreatment to stop, or you don't. But then there's other people that see it differently. There's people that go, yes, it happens, but it is being misrepresented. And they have the facts to, because data can prove anything for you. Like, you can make it sing whatever song you want it to sing, right? But then you've also got the other people which are like, yes, absolutely. And I don't know, we wanted to get into this topic anyway. We've got a whole bunch of people where it's like, yes, absolutely, Black Lives Matter. By the way, I'm Asian and you guys keep mistreating us. Because I've been seeing a whole lot of that from the Asians, yeah? And particularly from the Asians, to be honest. I've seen it from some Arabs, and I don't like it. Because in my eyes, I'm like, okay, this is starting to sound like all lives matter, right? Which is what I don't agree with right now, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Right? And I was like, everything is so divisive. Like, we cannot come to a common thing. And it's literally what Carlos was saying, where it's like, because we actually don't all believe the same thing on everything. Mm-hmm. And that's where I'm like, this is hard to navigate now. Like, this is actually difficult. And the fact that it's not just one issue that's dividing us, it's like 10 at one time. It's like, all right, man, screw this whole thing. I'm going to start a little, little island for myself and my friends.
Right.
Yeah,
and like, don't get me wrong. Like, I'm not saying we should all believe in everything. But the major things in terms of equal treatment, yeah, this is that. Yeah, you know what I mean? Like those stuff where it's like, hey, I think no matter what color you are, no matter this, no matter your religion, you should be able to believe in this thing as well.
Absolutely.
Right? And then after that, obviously, you know, depending on this or that or whatever else, you have your own beliefs. I'm not saying, yeah, I believe in everything that I believe in, but at least on that level, there's a level that we should all say, that's right. Yes, I agree.
Yeah.
And I think that's the level that we should be at. But unfortunately, some people are saying, if you're this, you're not on my level, you're not equal to me, or you're not equal to this kind of person, and this is that. And that's where it's automatically, you know, wrong.
Marwa, can I ask you? Because let's get into this whole that social media is starting to sound very all lives mattery. Yeah, you guys want to get into that?
Yeah, I want to say
What should be the same?
I might write it down in case you're jumping now, so I don't forget.
No, go. Say what you were gonna say.
All right, so kind of in line with what you and Marwa said in terms of like people showing their true colors, it really reminded me of Maya Angelou's the quote, when someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time, right? And it's like we're seeing a lot of people's true colors right now, and you're right in terms of how do we, in terms of us thinking, okay, how do we navigate what's going on right now? What's next year going to look like as a society, as human race? And you're right, the people who are acting a certain way now are probably still going to be acting a certain way then. But what I start to think about for my, like, that raises for me is like, you think about things from a biological point of view where natural selection means that the best and most viable outcome for the current situation and environment is what naturally is progressed as generations go on, right? So certain traits are favored because in an environment, this equals to being able to survive and being able to like and flourish and stuff like that, right? So when I look at it for us as human beings, I'm like, how do people not just think that if we try to work on things together or work on things for the benefit of the human race solely and not keep thinking about this or stop thinking from this survival instinct point of view, how do people not realize just how much it's going to help you and the other person right now? You know, like the step going forward is to, I just don't get how some people can, like, this is where the Bible is so true and how it says the heart is so deceitful and wicked, who can know it or something like that. Yeah, I said it basically. Close enough, right? Like just basically the heart is evil, like who can even understand that, right?
Yeah.
Because some people just really cannot get out of that mentality of me and myself and you know my four walls and my family, and just recognize that if I just literally just stop trying to oppress people or stop trying to be such a negative like force in people's life or stop being a trash human being, it's going to benefit everyone. I can't understand how.
Yeah, but you've also got to go like, some people don't care because it is putting
them in
money in their pockets.
Mm.
Like, genuinely, put it this way, right? Okay. We all buy iPhones and Samsungs.
Mm-hmm.
Those are made by little children.
Yeah.
We don't care enough to change.
To stop that or to rally against that and that, yeah. Mm. So this is what I'm thinking, man. Because like, you know, probably jump.
It's like Carlos picked up a Huawei.
Huawei.
It's Huawei. Get it right.
Okay.
Come on, buddy.
With what was going on in the NBA, where like they canceled a lot of the games and stuff, and they postponed and just in sports in general. One of the, I forgot his name, but one of the commentators was saying how he was really inspired to see how it was mainly a lot of young people making the decisions to do these things or being the ones that were socially aware to make decisions and to take stands and stuff like that. So for me, I'm like, sure.
Are you talking about Chuck?
I think is that his name?
Chuck from TNT, yeah.
Yeah, we'll go with that. Yeah, like how he's like, yeah, just a lot of young people are the ones speaking out. And I'm like, surely, right, if I'm following along this train of thought of what's going to benefit us is what is going to progress into the following generations, because I see majority of our generation is more attuned with this, this probably does start to get closer to the side of all lives matter, social media, awareness stuff. But because majority of us are kind of aware of what's going on and that things are wrong, surely that means that there is a kind of a brighter hope for what's to come for humanity, right? You know what I mean? Like, surely it means that if enough of the people who are trying to make positive change are around each other and are together, just like how it apparently seems like we are on social media, then surely that means it's going to head into a positive outcome for us, right? You know what I mean?
You hope so.
As
long as these people can get into power.
That's the thing. I'm like, okay, but maybe
the gatekeepers on everything.
Right?
Right?
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe it doesn't even matter about how many number of people you think are doing a good thing if the one who's still holding power is,
I mean, think about it. This week, 200 billion. Jeff Bezos hit it. Yeah, he's 90 billion ahead of the second place.
Yeah, bad.
Give him 3 weeks, and he has more money than the person. Like, as in, he can buy out the person in second place. You know what I mean? Like, it's silly. It's actually silly. Like, I'm not saying he's a bad person at all. In fact, I think he's a pretty dope person on face value, right?
Yeah.
Like, I'm never gonna meet him probably.
Does he have children?
I don't know. He has 200 billion.
Yeah, but like, if he's gone, like,
bro, imagine paying child support and your the daddy's Jeff Bezos. He might as well just be shooting up clubs everywhere. I mean, why not, right? Also, okay, I have another. No, we're trying to go into a discussion. Maybe it's for another. Right.
The man have got a lot in his mind, didn't it?
Just quickly in regards to what you said, Daniel, just like us, we're going to be raising good children with like, morals.
Hey, quick again, no cap, I got scared. This year made me scared about kids, bro.
I thought you had a pregnancy scare.
Why?
Nah, this year made me just go, you really telling me I'm going to bring a child into this world, bro?
Bro, I was thinking about this the other day as well, where I'm like, yo, I'm actually going to have to tell this kid what's right and wrong. Like, some stuff's easy because I'm like, as in, okay, none of our kids are going to be racist just because none of us are. You know what I mean? But then there's some things where I'm like, I might get some pushback on this kid. You're gonna be male.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. It's gonna be an interesting space, man. I'm like, this is kind of wild to think that I will put another human being into this environment, man. But yeah, not all you.
Yeah, no, I was just saying, like, yeah. So obviously, in our circle, we know that we're gonna raise good children. We hope and stuff that they're gonna be, treat other people well and stuff. But there's also people racist who are also raising their children to be that way too. So it's like, I feel like it's just a continuous cycle. Like, it's never gonna end. I mean, it can get better, but I don't know if.
I think I'm raising my kids as boxers.
Learn to fight.
He calls you a stinky Arab.
Even a hot one, mate. Oi, real quick, before we jump even further, you know what got me shook, man? So about what the 17-year-old who was going around, bro.
That did not make sense.
Madness, man.
It doesn't. I didn't.
So
yeah.
crazy. It's so crazy. It's so crazy. A 17-year-old goes across state lines, right? And
bro, the gun was bigger than him.
Bro, like, doesn't own a gun. Is not even allowed to own a gun. Has crossed states, so brought a gun illegally. Has come to a protest to defend territory from trespassers. You don't even live in the state. It's not even your area. It's not even your property. So what are you talking about? But to end up killing 2 people on that night and injuring many others. I
know. And then he just walks past some tanks holding the gun as well, and he's like,
"Damn!"
And they're like,
"Fam." To me, I was literally blown away. Like, 2 people went out that night, right? They went out that night. It is tough. There's tensions. It's scary times. But they went out that night. They would not have thought they were gonna die.
Did you hear what the commissioner said or whoever, the governor?
Basically blaming people, right?
Oh, this is why you shouldn't be out after curfew.
If
I'm out after curfew, I should get a fine. I should not get a death sentence.
Bro, how is the issue not the fact that you had someone there's no rights that he exercised. There's literally no legal basis this kid could stand. It's not even self-defense because
this kid can't even join the army,
bro. Fam,
17.
What got me a whole lot more like hot was just thinking like this is going into another angle, but we'll probably have to cut it short for this one. But like, he's a major Trump supporter, right? Been to Trump rallies and all that kind of stuff. This is what made me recognize that there's an inherent problem with Donald Trump, right?
Yes.
Because as a leader, if someone is to be a supporter of you, I don't understand how you can be viewed as a good person if your influence over their life leads to them acting out in such a negatively and harmful way.
Yes.
If I am so passionate about a certain leader, right, or someone who is in a certain position of authority or whatever, if I am such a follower of that person, if they're a good leader, they're not going to inspire me so much that I'm going to end up killing people, right?
Absolutely.
That is where you see that there's such an inherent
brainwashing.
Him being a leader. That is a man. It's raining, yo. I think, nature's feeling this, fam. Like that tells you there is a problem with this man being a leader. There's a problem with him, what he stands for. You can talk about unemployment, this. You can talk about immigrants, that, whatever. But as a human being, what you represent, if you have inspired people to be this bad, you're a horrible leader.
You're trash. I think this was my thing where I was talking to my dad the other day, where it's like Christians that are insanely in support of him in terms of like he is the Christian option. Because look, honestly, you're choosing between Trump and Biden is not an easy choice. Both are pretty butt cheeks, bro. Right? Like, none of them are good, right? Biden's had his hand in terrible crimes against the black community, right? And so it's like, yeah, it's not an easy option. So I'm not saying anyone who votes for Trump, but I'm saying Christians that have been doing this whole thing of this is the one that Jesus has anointed for this time, like all that kind of thing. I think they're actually crazy. Like that to me, I'm like, how are you defending this as God's option? And even the other night, like they had their whole RNC, which is like they have like a conference sort of thing, right? The Republicans. And his vice president gets on stage and he's like, basically this is what he says. He goes, let us run the race set before us, fixing our eyes on old glory and the great nation that America is and all the success she has had. Paraphrasing, but he literally took that scripture of let us run the race set before us and fix our eyes upon Jesus and replace Jesus with old glory. Now, I'm not saying, like, personally, I don't see Trump as a believer. He might be a Christian.
Remember what you taught us when they asked what your favorite Bible verse? That's
that kind of stuff. I'm like questionable.
It's very personal to me. Yes.
And it's not surprising to me that a politician takes the Bible out of context or totally misquotes it. But it's crazy to me that Christians who are pulling these guys as the Christian option don't call them out for, because there's a famous pastor, which I am like, I can't listen to the guy's sermons anymore because I'm like, you annoy me with your political views, right? Who was at this event and thing. And I'm like, bro, if you heard Biden or Kamala Harris say the same thing, you would have, waved your little fists in the air and everything and been like, you can't replace Jesus and stuff. And I agree, you shouldn't replace Jesus from scripture. But there's such a double standard here. This is why these are two of the things where I think we missed to talk about on the episode where we said America's not that great, is that one, their gun laws are terrible, but two, the other thing that terrifies me is America's Christianity is terrifying. America's Christianity is like this weird patriotism that is Republican and right-wing, and it's not even conservative, it's almost hateful, right, of anything not American. That's scary to me, because I'm like, you end up making God's word say whatever you want it to say.
And like you said, I mean, God's word is not data, but you can make words or numbers, sing any song you want. And it's the same thing that I see a lot of people doing with scripture, especially for America, man. They're singing a very, very unrighteous song. It does not align with what. Yeah, no, it's crazy, man.
I want to go to the church one day.
Huh?
I want to go to the church one day. I just want to see how they praise. I just want to see how they do their prayer worship, and I want to see.
Like, you know the meme of the guy in the stands, the bold. It looks like an Indian or Sri Lankan guy, bro.
Now the one on the phone.
Hear the word. I just want to hear the word one time. You know what I mean? I just want to experience it. I don't know.
5,000 years later, what were you saying we should jump into, man?
All right, so I feel like social media is becoming very close to All Lives Matter. Because I was talking to Carlson Daniel about this a couple of weeks ago. I want to get your opinion, Marwa. Do you feel like all the people posting, you know, this stuff is happening to our race, this stuff's happening to our race? I'm talking about non-Black people, because I'm seeing a lot of that recently on people's stories and stuff. Yeah. Do you feel like they kind of, you know, jumping on the coattails of Black Lives Matter?
I feel like because we are in times where it's like people are really doing their research into, you know, Black people, the Black community, and, you know, what it is that they're suffering with, what it is that we're struggling with. You know, you've got your Asians, your Hispanics, all of these people that are going to come out and be like, hey, well, we've got issues that we're going through as well, you know? And it's kind of like, because we're all on the topic of Black Lives Matter, you know, Black people matter, they're kind of like, okay, well, if you have time to do that, you know, so maybe it is jumping on the bandwagon type of situation, because we do have a lens on it, you know, like the whole world is kind of like focused, whether people are with it or they're against it, the whole world is kind of focused on, we're kind of focused on Black people, Black issues and what's going on. Whereas if, you know, the Asian or Hispanic community were to have been like last year, hey guys, like, you know, we're suffering as well, or we're, you know, going through this, we're going through that, people will kind of be like, where did this come from? It's kind of like out of nowhere type of situation. Whereas this year, like, people are really kind of looking into different cultures and just kind of being like, what's going on in terms of like, because I've seen a lot of Asian people come out and be like, you know, we're experiencing racism as well and all of that stuff. I think a lot of it has sparked due to COVID. Like, a lot of them are being, you know, blamed for it. A lot of people have come out and been like, oh, I've been, you know, racially bashed, or like slurs just thrown at them and stuff like that because of COVID. So it's kind of like, I understand where it's coming from. Like, it's for them, it's not just coming out of nowhere type of situation. Yeah. Like, they are going through it. It's not, you know, the light isn't on them as much, but they are going through something. So I understand why they're kind of like, hey, don't forget about us in these times. So I get it.
It's hard because I don't want to minimize other people's pains and problems, but that's the thing where I'm like, okay, say after 9/11, Arabs, particularly Arab men, have and women, bro. If Muslim Arab women have had a tough time, right?
Bro, it's just, what's going on in France right now is kind of crazy.
Yeah, and it's like, okay, they've had a tough time. Asians have had some tough times, especially during this virus. You know, the people going, you know, that's because of you, which is just the stupidest logic in the world.
Yeah.
But the reality is, not many, in fact, very, 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 very few of these things have ended up in deaths, right? And the way I'm looking at it, I'm like, on the other hand, you have a lot of young Black men across the world, mostly in America, or most obviously in America, that are being killed by their own justice system or protection system, right? And that's where I'm like, I don't think it's the same level of severity.
I feel that if we're kind of looking at, because I mean, hate is hate, you know, and we as humans shouldn't condone hate just because, you know, people look different or just because people are from certain type of place in the world. But if we do come down and be like, what needs more attention? I understand why people will be like, hey, focus on the Black people, because if it comes down to it, death is the end of the line. you know, getting beat up, getting sworn at and stuff. Like, there's worse that can happen after, but after death, there's nothing else. Like, if someone kills you, you're dead. Like, you can't beat me anymore. Like, I'm dead. Like, what can you do? You know what I mean? So I understand in the sense that it's like, we do need to definitely focus on it. But like you said, we shouldn't dismiss what they're going through as well. We shouldn't be like, hey, like, just, you know, it's kind of like just hold on to it for now. Or it's like, it doesn't have to be, I don't think they should, you know, make it in a sense that, hey, like, publicize our issues as well. Make it as big as you're making Black Lives Matter. Like, that shouldn't be their point, you know, that to focus on, like, can we get some help as well? Rather than, like, can you make our issues as big as you're making Black Lives Matter? Because like you said, it's like we're comparing death to, you know, everything else.
Beauty standards.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's just crazy times. Everyone's
really is
through something, you know. It's a situation.
I think as well, because when you start to just look, let me answer this question first anyways. Yeah, I kind of struggled at that point because I was seeing a lot of this stuff myself, right? I started to struggle with it thinking, I mean, I can understand how people like, this is a great time to try to highlight other things because great in like, for lack of a better word, right? But a great time to try to highlight other things because of the sensitivity that is in our society right now.
If we're talking about it, let's talk about it.
Let's try to bring the other things in. But it's like, then you just start yelling and there's too much noise and, like, you know, you're starting to, and the original thing is missing now. The original message is missing now. So that's why I kind of struggle with it. Like, you know, what should be focused on right now. But I was even going to say, like, yeah, just with everything that's going on and, like, all that's happening around us, like, I want to make sure that whenever, or for anyone, like, whenever we start to talk about just how crazy the world is or everything that's going on, how bad things are, that we make that kind of flip in how we're talking about it to be like, but hopefully from this we learn that this and this, because I think that's ultimately the most important thing anyways, like, because it sucks. And I've realized that, especially with talking to people at, like, work or just, you know, online and stuff, like because that's what comes up. People talk about how crazy things are or how's things been for you. Yeah, I've been able to do this, that. How's things been? Oh, it's been horrible. And then, like, yeah, you just have to try to make that switch of, like, all right, but from this, hopefully we can do this. Hopefully we've learned this. Yeah. Hopefully we start to change this, because that's the more productive conversation, or the angle that I feel is, I mean, obviously that's the angle that's going to help us a whole lot more. And that's what's going to benefit us together a whole lot more. And maybe before things, you know, the next arc of 2020 comes into play, before that next plot comes in, let's try to start figuring out what can we learn from right now, because it's just going to be calamity. And we haven't even processed anything, or we haven't even understood anything or learned anything. And now we're just spun. And 2021 comes, it might even be a good year, but we're too traumatized to be able to even enjoy it, you know?
What do you guys... Oh, no, go.
I was just going to say, but just like, even with that, it boils down to what Carlos was saying before, in terms of, like, our beliefs. You know, obviously as Christians, that's what our foundation is. It's like, we have faith, you know, every day we wake up, you know, whether good, bad, we have faith, we have hope that things are going to be better. But there's people out there that are like, this is bad and it's going to get bad. Like, we've heard suicide rates are going, like, they're higher than ever. You know what I mean? And that's just...
Yeah. I saw someone put up this thing, because they did a inquest into that, about the suicide rates, and what the research showed was that the rates are not any higher than they were at this time last year. And sure, I saw that. I mean, stats can say whatever stats say. They can put out whatever they say. Yep. But I'm gonna take it as that might be the case. But I was like, that is such a disrespectful thing to put out to try to justify that this situation is fine, because it's not fine. If you're saying, okay, maybe suicide rates haven't gone up, bro, how much higher is depression now then, and anxiety in people's lives? To try to take away from the fact, like, no, people aren't mentally struggling that much right now. It's not any worse off than last year. But that's a horrible message to try to put out, that, like, nah, this isn't as
It's
deep
still
as you're saying. It's deep,
Yeah.
bro.
It's not getting better, but it's not getting worse.
Man, what? That's a horrible message. And I saw someone sharing that, and she was like, I wanted to message her, man, but I was just like, let me keep it. Like, let me keep my peace.
Fam, you know how many people I want to comment on or reply to on social media, and I'm like, it's not worth
Bro,
it.
I was just like, let me keep my peace, man. Let me just hold it. But she put it out there. She's like, you don't need to check the stats before you did. I'm like, bro, what are you saying? People are stressed, bro. Don't try to tell me that it's not deep, that no one's killing, that people aren't killing themselves more than they have any other year. Bro, what are you saying?
I agree with what you said, Daniel, but I think obviously in terms, I don't know exactly what you're saying, but I think obviously context kind of matters in these situations, because a lot of people are coming out and saying that, hey, we need freedom because, you know, these restrictions is what is causing people to do this. And then it's like, according to stats, not really.
Doing that, yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Where like, I get what you're saying. But then I think when we add context into it, saying, we're not saying that, hey, suicide rate is actually not as high as it used to be. But I think when people come out and say, well, the restrictions are making making people do this, and then someone else pulling out and said, not really, actually. It's actually not doing that.
Bro, I saw that, I was like, man, you really did a research.
Yeah, facts though.
No, like I was like, I agree with the fact that, okay, if people are going to be saying it's causing this, let's at least be fact checked on that. Is it really? It's like, cool. Okay, we're saying it's not, but like I'm saying, what message is that putting out? Like Noah just said, yeah, it's not really getting better, but it's not bad. Like, it's not as bad as we think. Like, bro, it's bad, bro.
That's when you convince your boss to let you keep the job, even though you didn't hit sales target increase. It's the same sales as last year. Didn't get the next little bit, but.
Oh man, yeah, it's crazy, man. All right, this is something fun. I just started to realize just how wild media is, yeah, and how sensationalist they tend to be. So I saw this headline, because this is about, like, you know, this 2020 and how many different seasons we've seen so far and different plots. Yeah, I saw this. I saw this headline, and I was like, "Oh snap! What is going on? Here we go again." And the headline was like, "Asteroid on collision course with Earth." I said,
okay, look, I was just gonna ask this.
Yeah.
What could happen in 2020 that you guys would be like, wow, that's surprising?
Bro, this is the headline. It said, asteroid on collision course with, I know, at this point, though, what can we say?
Because that one wasn't surprising. I skipped through that. I was like, yeah.
Well,
you know they said 0.3% chance that it's going to happen the day before the elections?
No, bro. Wait, you talking about the asteroid?
Asteroid.
Right, let me tell you what made me, because most people would have seen that and gone, what the heck? And I was like,
0.3 is high.
Bro, not even that. That's not even what's funny, bro. I was like, let me click on this, bro, because I was like, nah, this is just one of those headlines that this is sensationalist.
Yeah.
And anyways, the little thing says, amid a pandemic, global unrest, and a divisive US election season, news has emerged that Earth has a collision course with Baba. I was like, yay, what is going on? I clicked on it anyways, yeah? Tell me why this even made news. Asteroid 2018 VP1 is very small, approximately 6.5 feet, 1.9 meters. It's my height, bruv. And poses no threat to Earth. If it were to enter our planet's atmosphere, it would disintegrate due to its extremely small size.
Why do they do this?
Clickbait, literally. That's all that
they literally made so much. Like, Lad Bible and these guys must have made so much money off the clicks on this.
Bro, I was like,
stupid. Okay, this week I got pissed off as well because I was on Complex's Instagram.
Yeah.
And they had some whole, like, Trump versus Biden, here's the facts kind of thing to swipe through and, like, you know, infographic, yeah?
Yeah.
All their sources were the Joe Biden website. They were like, Trump is not this, Biden is this. But they posed it as, like, some neutral graphic. And I'm like, this is trash journalism. There has to be a standard. Now, again, you know, piss is the brother of poo, right? Like, it's the same situation. I tried to translate an Arabic phrase. Right? But it's like...
You said piss is the brother of poo.
You know what I'm saying? They both go in the toilet. You guys ever try to translate your own countries?
Yeah.
Bro, that's an amazing phrase, bro.
Yeah, but like, I was just like watching this and I was like, fam, this is terrible journalism. Like, there is no morals, no standard. Like, what is this? A meteor is gonna hit the Earth. It is this. It's gonna disintegrate before it touches Earth. Like, what? I hate the internet. I love the internet.
If it landed, it would only hit my car, bro. My house.
It couldn't ruin your car. That's crazy.
It ruined the car.
It won't be hot by the time it touches the ground.
Man, I'm like, bro, this is, what are they trying to do to people, man? Like, what is, like, how much could you be chasing the profits from news to at that expense, how much could you be chasing the profits of news and clicks at the expense of people's sanity and peace?
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the goal, bro?
The only thing
that's very interesting, man.
Only thing 2020 could happen now, like that, I'd be like, wow, this is actually insane, is aliens have to show up. And they have to show up at my house. Like, I don't want to see a video. Like, I want to do a little East with E.T. What's good, brother? Here's an iPhone, phone home.
Wow.
Oh, man.
I know it's a little bit, that was a trash joke. Thank God I stopped it. Anyways.
Hey, all right.
Whoa.
Since this is heavy. Oh, no, who's going to go?
No one, bro.
All right.
Yeah, no one.
This is a little bit heavy episode. I was literally just thinking, I don't know how somehow it clicked in my head while we were recording this. Why do we have 12 months, but we have enough weeks for 13 months? Because you know how we always say, oh, there's 4 weeks in a month?
Yep.
It splits evenly into 13.
Wait, some weeks have 5? No, some weeks have like a few days over.
Yeah, but like, as in, why did it? Because we have 52 weeks. 52 divided by 4, that's 13.
It's perfectly 13. So why not just?
Who didn't do the maths?
Who knows?
I don't know. We need to ask him questions.
Hold on, bro. Let me look at this map. Maybe someone was just annoyed because then you have to have a couple of seasons with, what's the maths here? Someone help me. You have to have like 3 seasons with 3 months and 1 season with 4 months.
Trust, that's less annoying. Just make someone 4 months, bro.
Yeah.
Someone like, nah, I ain't trying to do all that. Bro, you know what's crazy? Okay, this is funny about us. We need to take these things, we need to look into these things. We need to look into, okay, why do we have this many hours in a day?
Yeah, hey, we should just trust them.
We just allowed it.
Change.
No, you know who lies?
It's not going to change, but at least you know why. Like, why do we not care about what we've lived our whole life?
You know what the biggest lie is?
What?
Daylight savings. That's fake. That's not even. There's parts of the world that don't do that.
That's what.
Nah.
Bro,
Queensland doesn't do it, bro.
It is.
You can.
Daylight savings is not real.
You can be in. I think it's like Alaska or something. 1 a.m. bright. Daylight. You know what I mean, bro?
Daylight savings, apparently.
Like,
the moms in Alaska tell their kids nothing good happens after 4 a.m. until 5 a.m.
Bro.
Aren't we lucky that we have summer
At the end of the
year, and it's also like
but then again, every single movie we've ever watched has been
Santa looks like a pagan here in his
that. Well, you tell me, Santa, bro. The Australian Santa is disgusting.
Disgusting.
He's got a swimming floaty, bro. You don't see these cartoons, swimming floaties, wearing shorts and thongs, and he's got like a prawn skewer in his hand. And he's
wait, you know what I thought? Actually, America have summer break during the year, so technically,
better than us.
No, like they're not missing out because they're
that's what I'm saying, because they're getting their summer break, and then they're getting the Christmas winter.
Yeah, then they're in school.
Nice.
Now you know what's elite in the Middle East?
Wow.
So it's like America in that, like, because Northern Hemisphere, so it's like summer break is in the middle of the year, and because most of them are Muslim countries, they give you a holiday for Ramadan as well, and so it ends up being about like 2.5 months of summer holidays.
Mm.
That's a lot.
Lucky them.
Because, bro, when we first came here, summer holidays, I was like, we just started. It's so short, man. It's like 5 weeks.
It is. It is.
I was like, this is stupid. Get out of here, bro.
Oi,
I was like, we just had Christmas.
hold on, yeah.
Most of December and all of January, isn't it?
What do you mean, bro? They finished late as they finished like 6 days before Christmas.
Yeah, primary school is moving mad. I once finished on the 21st of December.
Yeah.
I said I need to get in bed. I need my gift.
It's coming.
Milk and cookies.
There's no break, bro. The second week of Jan, they're going back to work, man. What do you say?
That's the other thing here, bro.
Yeah.
If Monday is the 2nd of January, Monday.
This is what is I'm starting
I said, what?
thing about some of this full-time work is that you what like 4 weeks in a year, bro. Holiday. I mean, 4 weeks.
Oh,
I've been looking into this stuff, right? And I'm like, because obviously, eventually going to work full time stuff. I'm like, more than 3 years of working for somebody, it's not a chance. I mean, unless I'm trying to apply for you right now. Look, I'm a committed employee.
Don't ruin your chances.
But yeah, man. I was like, bro, 4 weeks is silly. I want to do something once every 2 months.
Bam, it's madness because presently right now I rack up annual and I also rack up like a bank of hours, so I'm able to like apply when I want. But it ends up being like I once took like 6 weeks off here, like for one go, and that thing was paid, patterned, beautiful. I was like, full time work ain't like that. Like you have 4 weeks for the whole year, cuz.
Might have to claim some of that domestic abuse leave.
What? That ain't no thing, bro.
It is, bro. My dad was doing the pays for his company yesterday, and he was like, "Hold up, we have domestic abuse leave,
bro." And what else is there?
Is health, like sick leave, actual holidays. Just claim it all. So you went on holiday, got a little bit sick towards the end, and suddenly your wife started beating you. I don't know.
Bro, dude, this guy's cheeks, man. Nah, man.
You moving mad.
It's wild, bro. Like 4 weeks ain't enough, man. Like teachers get to have the holiday with that's why teachers kind of clutched it because they get the holiday with the students.
Yeah, but they're doing stuff on their holiday.
The summer one, come on. The summer one.
Yeah, the summer one, you move mad.
You kind of
no. Okay, teachers are not doing anything on their holidays, bro. You remember we used to do those sacks, and then we'd come back and we're like, "Miss, have you marked it yet?" And they're like, "Sorry." I had a teacher. I hope she sees this one day, bro. she messed up my BCE, bro. Oh, no. So year 10, I came here in year 9. I had her for maths, had her again in year 10, yeah? This woman was lazy, fam. Lazy. Because she taught like 4 subjects or something, yeah? So she used to get us, if you're not in BCE, she'd get the class to mark their test, bro. This is public school, yeah? Obviously. Like clearly, bro, you think anyone's gonna pay for some?
We had that as well for like sometimes maths and stuff and health.
Bro, what's wrong with Australian teachers, fam? They don't get paid at all. They only get paid on a holiday or something.
Bro.
Anyway, bro. So she used to let us mark our tests. Now, what she would do is she would go like her test would be like let's say 25 questions, and then she'd add another 2 questions, yeah, and as bonus, yeah. So you can ultimately get 108%, yeah. Because that way it kind of helps you if you fell back on one test, whatever, right? Now, we used to mark our own tests. I was normally getting like 23 out of 25, yeah? But then I was like, you know what? Like, because, they'd be like, swap your test, someone else mark it. But I'd be like, you know what? Pretend we swapped it. And so I was averaging like 106%. I don't know.
Wow.
So year 10 comes around the end of it. And they're like, choose your BC subject for next year. And they're like, we're going to do 1 class of year 11 methods. Year 10 methods, sorry. Yeah. And so I was like, shoot, I'm averaging 106. Might have to apply.
I have to continue.
I think she picked up that I was cheating on all the tests. Well, not cheating, like cheating for a couple marks,
106% on average.
She goes, all right, I've said that you should do methods next year, but, like,
we'll see.
Work hard when you're there, yeah? I get there and I'm like, I should not be here. Year 11 came around, I said, I'm going to do this year again.
Nah, that was messed up. Something else, right?
Australian teachers.
That's madness. But But that's facts. Like when the teachers used to correct like our Saxon that year, the test. I don't know why I was expecting the results the next day.
Hey, low-key, it's not that hard. I don't know what they're doing.
We have that. Some of my teachers would stay back after school and they'd mark our test on the day and they'd get it to us back tomorrow.
Nah, it must be nice.
They didn't have
God
anything to
favors them.
Bro, you know when you do so well on a test that you want the results back ASAP? Yeah. That feeling. And then when you do so bad, you're like, hey, miss, take your time.
Take your time.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
We don't need to know the results.
Oh, man. That's nice.
Have you seen that full video? This "Don't worry about it, sweetheart." I love, bro. The way he goes. They come up to me. They say, "Brayden, what you wearing?" Don't worry about it, sweetheart.
Don't worry about it.
Don't worry.
All right, should we wrap up this thing?
I have to.
Before we finish,
Let's go.
I am going to start giving shout outs at the end of the episode just because, I feel like there are a lot of people out there that are just doing some great things, musicians, clothing lines, whatever it is, podcasts as well, you know what I mean? So I just want to just give just a little casual shout out to my fellow folks, whether you listen or not, you're going to get the shout out anyways, which is going to make you listen if you don't listen. So today's special shout out going to my guy Ryan Wijaya. Shout out to you, Ryan. Ryan's doing some amazing things, guys. Go check out his music. Check out his page. Just give him some love. Just go see what he's doing. He's actually like great musician, great man of God as well. So yeah, guys, head over to Ryan's Insta page to start going.
We're supporting that.
Yes,
the Christian ladies. The Christian ladies are like, man of God, okay.
Ow.
They're like, ooh.
I don't care about music.
All right.
Shout out to the winner of our competition as well.
Yes.
This last week, but yeah, shout out to Gabrielle. Thank you for your support, for participating. Thank you to Munchies' wheel. More to come on that. And when you get the package put up on the Instagrams, let people know that we happened. Yeah.
Tag us so we can see,
and let us know that you got a safe. We want to make sure that you actually got the gifts.
Yeah, and buy me a little something with it.
A little something.
Don't be
stingy. A little something from Fashion Ever Kev. I don't know. Anyways.
Whoa.
What?
Hey, if we don't laugh, it gets awkward for him.
What's it called, bro? Big and tall or something, man? Boy,
Big and bold?
Big and bold, yeah, I will call it big and bold from now, man. But yeah, shout out to you for entering our comp and that. Yeah, it's lit. And y'all stay blessed in these streets, cuz.
Yeah.
Y'all people look after yourselves, bro. You know what I mean? Like, hey, I'm trying to encourage people, but I'm so angry at the same time. Like, hey,
somebody go protest right now. Dan and on. Let's go.
Let Dan on right now.
We got
after yourselves, man.
We got 13 minutes.
Oh, word. Hey, we're not trapped in the houses just yet. Might have to do a little something.
What can you do in 13 minutes?
We can do a lot.
What can you do? Where can you go?
I'm going for a run right now.
Anyways,
man. I might have to just pull up on Dan Andrews' offices. You know where they are? Next to IKEA.
What?
Yeah.
Are we allowed to just...
Hey, no, you're alone on that, bro.
What?
You're alone on that, bro. I'm not. Yeah.
All right, let's end the episode.
Man. Hey, love all of y'all listening to this, man. Everyone look after yourselves for real, please. It's crazy out here, man. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Be safe.
2 weeks to go. We're going to be all right, Melbourne.
Yes, sir. Now we going to be all right. Put that
thank you for joining us for another episode of the Disruption Podcast. If you did enjoy that, please like, comment, subscribe. Give us a rating. Follow us on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, everything.
Carlos, stop.
Wait, what?
What is to be doing that?
Bro, Carlos mad pixelated, bro. I hear looking like Minecraft and that. Hey, bro, anyways, we out.
Carlos's durag is 1 pixel.
Hey, ladies.